Hi, I'm Paul, and I've got gas. And today I'm here to follow up on my promised review of the Headrush Gigboard. We might as well jump right into it, give you a sound sample here. I'll go back to my metal days. You can tell how good it sounds, right? Right? Well, oh, I'm sorry, it's off camera. Let me show it to you here. There it is, Headrush. See, it says right there. Let's get rid of that for a moment. Actually, I'm playing through a Dan Electro Honey Tone, and the reason for that is because, as it turns out, this sounds better than the Headrush Gigboard did. You see, I sent the Headrush Gigboard back very soon after I received it, and so I guess this review isn't going to have a lot of visuals or sound demos from it. Frankly, I could not wait to get rid of the thing, and the sad truth is it was a purchase that I had looked forward to more than most. I really had high hopes for this, but there were some issues with it that I just couldn't tolerate. First and foremost of which is that I couldn't get any good sounds out of it, you see. It was pretty expensive for something that doesn't, for the most part, sound as good as this. I'm being slightly facetious here, but not a lot. You know what? I have this PRS Vela here. If you want to see this little beauty with the frost metallic green, semi-hollow. Ooh, baby, S2 American made. Just a stunning guitar, and the truth is I'm going to be totally distracted by this thing if I hold on to it. So let me turn this off and get this out of the way. There we go. So let's come in close and personal for this. What happened with the Headrush Gigboard? Well, if you look at the unboxing video, you'll see the first problem I had with it, which was the laptop style wall wart power supply, where you have you have some length of cable that goes into the wall, then it plugs into a laptop style transformer power supply, and then it has a thin cable that goes and plugs in with the little round connector into the device. I don't know about you, but every laptop I've ever had, now granted I use laptops for what they're meant for, I take them with me, I carry them around. Every laptop I have ever owned, the power supply has gone out long before I was done with the computer, and I had to replace it. It's one of the most poor designs I've ever seen. I can't believe in the 21st century those things still exist, to be honest. If you look at those, the number of points where those get bent and can get shorted out is ridiculous. At the wall, you have pushing in, unplugging from the wall. That's 1 point of stress. The connection into the brick, a point of stress, and that thing gets all bent all the time as you're folding it up and carrying it around. The other end of the brick, with a thinner cable, a very thin cable, gets bent all the time. Another point of stress, and then of course at the end where you actually plug it into the device. That's 4 points of stress, plus you have the box itself, which is constantly getting bam, boom, bang around. So that was the first problem I had with this. For something that cost as much as the Headrush boxes, I want an IEC cable. I want to just plug the cable into the back and get cooking. Okay, so the wall wart was a bad sign right out of the gate. I honestly got blindsided by that one. Did not expect something like that. Let's see, what else do we have? Second of all is the touch screen, which is the main appeal for most people, and I will have to admit that. When I used the touch screen, now keep in mind one thing, I have a dumb phone. I hope I don't hurt its feelings. I think it's in, well, it was in the room. See, I hurt its feelings. It left. I'm sorry. Sorry, but it is really a dumb phone, though. It's not a smartphone. And so I don't use the touchscreen. I rarely ever have to use a touchscreen unless I'm at the ATM or something, and even then I screw it all up, right? So I'm not big on touchscreens to begin with. I personally do not find that to be something that speeds up my workflow. However, I will say on the Headrush Gigboard, it was very easy to figure out where to go. It was very easy to slide things, move things around, but it wasn't necessarily easier than using knobs, because the thing is, when you have a device that you really like, you learn how to use it just like a guitar or an amplifier that you use all the time. You can do it blindfolded, and it's the same like the 11 rack that the Headrush is based on. When you're using something that you're that accustomed to, it's second nature. And even if it does take ever so slightly longer, it doesn't matter, because it's going to react instantly, and you can kind of just do it without even thinking about it and get there. And that's certainly true with the touchscreen. You can get to the point where you don't have to think about it and you just know where to tap and have it drop down. There were a couple problems though. Whenever they had a slider where you're increasing and decreasing values, I would move it and there would be a lag. It would take a second for it to go like this and take effect. And I don't like that, because that screws up my workflow. When I move my finger, I want to go immediately to the next thing. I can't, when you're using muscle memory, your muscle memory gets all messed up whenever there's anything that is indeterminate. If you have something that you don't know how long it's going to take to actually take effect, then you can't do the muscle memory. It's just like if you're typing on a computer. If you're typing on a computer and your computer system is really slow, and every time you hit the F1 key, it could be a delay of half a second to 3 seconds, but you don't know how long it's going to take. That messes you all up. Now, if the thing responds immediately, you get to where you can just tap all the keys. You can even tap ahead and it'll flash the screens in a row because you're using muscle memory. You're not thinking about it. But whenever you have a computer where you're typing and you hit F1 and you don't know how long it's going to take before the next screen draws, and it won't take the next input until that next screen draws, then you have to just, your brain has to come to a screeching halt and wait for however long it is. Well, granted, it might have just been a fraction of a second, but that's too long. That means I can't develop muscle memory with that thing. I'm always going to have to think about it. I'm always going to have to think in my mind every time I do anything. Did it take it? Did it take it? Or can I proceed now, or do I have to go back and try it again? I'm sorry, folks. I mean, I understand a lot of people grew up in a generation with these touchscreens on everything, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I mean, it was kind of convenient. It has a novelty value. It was nifty and neat. If it responded immediately, I would have liked it a lot better. Another thing in there, the display, for all these effects pedals and amplifiers it had in there, they were just very generic icons. They have all this color and these big graphics, but they were just like a red box that said delay or something. They didn't jazz it up and make it look like some super cool.
See, an ordinary person spends his life avoiding tense situations. Repo man spends his life getting into tense situations.
Then we followed up with Lonesome and Mike.
Let's go get a drink. Tense situations, kids get in 5 or 6 of them.
Even the cheap, $70 Zoom multi-pedals that has 100 effects in it, it might be black and white, but they create a neat looking device for each one. And for the price of the Headrush Gigboard, I would expect some graphics that were done well, not something that someone looks like they put together in Microsoft Paint. So that was a disappointment. And again, I like having controls. I like having buttons and knobs so that I know where I'm going. The other thing is, because with the touch screen, I don't know, am I not touching something I should be to bring up a menu I need to know about? And that happened over time. There were some submenus I found later that I didn't know about before, because, oh, what if you touch that? And again, if you have a box that has dedicated knobs for everything, not combinations, but dedicated knobs, or at least labeled combinations, then you get to know how that system works and you can go directly to everything. So you know, while I understand why people might like the touchscreen, personally I did not like it. It didn't help me one bit. I wasn't impressed. I'm not going around and go, ooh, look at my colorful touchscreen with really bland and boring looking pedals on it. No. But, you know, the biggest thing of all was this thing sounds exactly like the 11 rack. I mean, I can't tell any difference. So what is it exactly? If it's based off 11 rack technology, does that mean they just took the 11 rack and repackaged it in a floorboard with a touchscreen? Because as near as I could tell, that's exactly what we have. I have an 11 rack sitting in the closet. There are some purposes for it. I will admit I got some really good clean sounds out of it. However, I also got some not so good clean sounds. And frankly, on most multi-effects, it's pretty hard to get a bad clean sound that just grates on you, that just sounds so annoying you want to get rid of it. And that's what I was getting on the Headrush. So there were a few tones there that I liked, and when it came to dirt, there was almost nothing, literally. To my ears, that Headrush sounded like that honeytone. And I tried playing it with great quality studio monitor headphones. I tried playing it through an Alto speaker, big Alto speaker, and as far as I know, Alto makes the Headrush speaker, so it should be somewhat comparable. The speaker had a switch for 2 different modes. I tried everything I could. I had another guitarist play through there. They kind of agreed, and I gave the Headrush to a friend to take home overnight and try it out because he was interested in buying it. And when he came back, he said, "Paul, thank you for loaning me this. Now I know I don't want this thing. I had the same problems you did. This thing sounds terrible." So I honestly don't know what to make of this. I really thought this was going to be extraordinary, and I have to admit the demos I saw on YouTube didn't impress me that much. But, you know, with presets are typically not very good, and maybe the presets that people created weren't very good. I can't base everything off that. YouTube is compressed. The sound isn't exactly what you would hear. So, you know, I have to tell you the truth, I just was not impressed with the Headrush at all. And it's a real shame, because now my next step is to get a Kemper, which is going to take a long, long time. Especially since that beautiful Vela, which I also borrowed, this beauty has just struck my fancy, and I've got to get one. I have got to get one of these beautiful things, and that's going to slow down my acquisition of a Kemper. So there you have it. There's my quick review. Sorry I don't have the Headrush with me, but hopefully it says more that I felt like sending it back before even making a demo video than if I gave you a demo. I think what I'm saying are some legitimate concerns here. I have to admit, this looks to me like the people at Headrush licensed the 11 rack audio technology, they repackaged it, and they put some pretty good marketing behind it. They need to improve the quality of the sound tremendously. They need to put in some good looking graphics so that we feel like we spent our money well and we just enjoy it. We enjoy looking at it. I mean, look at what Zoom does. Some of their pedals look so clever, the clever names and everything, and there's nothing like that. It's just a blue box, delay, red box, reverb, you know, it's just, no, not good at all, not for that price. And then of course with the power supply that is almost certain to go out years before the Headrush does, if the Headrush has integrity to begin with. I'm sorry, I gotta give that one a thumbs down. I didn't want to, I really did not want to. So something to think about. Your mileage may vary. Watch the other reviews, of course, because there's a lot of people who are liking it. There's a lot of people gigging with it. But I put it through all the paces I could. I tried everything I could imagine to get some good sounds out of it. Different guitars, pickups, cables, you know, the wireless. You know, I tried what I could, but it just didn't sound good to me. All right. So that's my review of the Headrush Gigboard. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go find my phone and buy it a milkshake or something, because I think I really hurt its feelings earlier. Dang. Thanks for watching.